Hurricane. Broken Ferris wheel belt from Hurricane. New belt. This shouldn't be too terribly difficult. We're going to pop the whole assembly out. Then we'll clean it. I didn't really cover that in the last one. I just kind of messed around with it. So I'll show you how to take it apart and clean it. We'll get the new belt on there. We'll get it tensioned. We'll pop it back in. And then hopefully we should be back online again. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to lift the playfield and unplug the motor. It's just one little wire right there. Lower the playfield, and as you can see, I've already taken the front Ferris wheel off. The red Ferris wheel is gone. It's pretty simple. You just, there's a little clippy dealy. Undo the little clippy dealy. There's a washer behind the clippy dealy. Take that off, and then the whole thing just slides out. You can't take the back one off without removing the whole assembly. So what I'm doing here is I've loosened the screws for the top ramp, and then there's a little plastic that sits behind it, or underneath it I should say. I've taken the screws off for that. That allows me to kind of just lift the stuff out of the way and get to the screws for the Ferris wheel mounting guy. So I'm just taking those screws out of there. There's about 7 screws or so. Yeah, and then all it is just a matter of lifting the whole assembly up and out. And it takes a little bit of wiggling here and there. Oh, there's a little light in the way, and there's this and that in the way, but you'll be able to do it. Yeah, there it is. There's the light. Move it. There you go. Ta-da! So there you go. That's the assembly. All right, so now we're gonna clean the assembly. This is a little clippy dealy thingy that I was talking about. You just pop it off of there, bloop, and then the whole thing just comes off. It's pretty easy. I did that for the red one. You didn't see that. We already talked about that. All right, this is naphtha. I'm gonna clean everything. So I'm gonna clean the insides and the outsides of each wheel. I'm sort of montaging this together because you don't need to see the whole thing. I'm going to go back through later where the belt sits in the Ferris wheels. I'm going to clean that out with a Q-tip and naphtha. Clean the shaft. I'm going to clean all of those 3 little gears that are there. The black one is the motor, and then the 2 other are just pulley, whatever they are. And so, yep, just wipe it all down with naphtha. Make sure there's no grease or anything around. There was a washer that I popped on there so I didn't lose it. And here's a Q-tip with naphtha. I'm going to clean inside the little shaft hole. What's that hole called? Shaft hole? That's good enough. Shaft hole. Clean your shaft hole. And now I'm going to clean inside our little pulleys with naphtha and a Q-tip. And scrub, and we'll do each one of them. And then we'll go over and we'll do the motor one. Make sure that's all clean. We don't want any lubrication in there at all. Lubrication will cause the belt to slip. So this is the one screw you have to take out. And there's that little metal guard thingy. We just have to take one screw out to get the belt underneath it. This is these are the screws for the tensioner. That's the tensioner unit. And I'm just going to take those and loosen those up, and then I'll loosen the tensioner as low as it'll go. I'm just going to use a little bit of synthetic grease, just to oh no, that's way too much. Well, I'll deal with that later. So I'm just putting a little bit on the back Ferris wheel, and that's not a little bit, that's a lot of it. So let's get some paper towel, and we'll slather it all over it, and then we'll get some paper towel and we'll kind of wipe off our excess. It really doesn't need very much. Okay, let's get the new belt. So the belt kind of goes on, sort of, yeah, you sort of do a little of this and a little of, wait, no, it goes, yeah, it goes under this, and then over the motor, and then over Yeah, around there, over the shaft thingy where you put your shaft hole on. And then, okay, so we'll clean this little pulley system for the back Ferris wheel. Just get that all cleaned out. And then just pop it on there. And then we'll kind of let the belt rest in there for right now. A little bit more grease. I don't know if this is necessary, but I did it anyway. I'm going to put that on the front, and then I'm going to put the washer on it, and then we'll put our clippy dealy back on there. Just a tiny bit. Probably don't need it, but you know, that's a part where things rub together, so I figured it wouldn't hurt. And then we'll get our clippy dealy on. And clippy dealy, and it spins. Fantastico. So now that's the path of the belt. So down below the left one, up into the middle, and then down below on, that's the motor. Great. That's pretty much all we need to do with this now, because we can't put the red Ferris wheel on, but everything looks like it's ready to go. Let's put it back in the machine. Alright, a little bit more of that kind of wiggling and finagling, and should just more or less drop in once you do your wiggling and finagling. And there you go. So we'll put screws back on there, and we'll put all those screws. I actually, what I did on this is I put a couple of screws in just to hold it in place. Then I put the front Ferris wheel back on and made sure that it was all going to work, because I didn't want to take out all those screws again if something was amiss. So I'm just putting in 2 screws for right now, and we'll go back and we'll put the rest of the screws in later. Okay, front Ferris wheel. Let's do a little less lubrication this time. Just a touch. Doesn't need very much. Make sure it's all over there. Don't touch the belt with your greasy fingers. Alright, front Ferris wheel goes on, and lift the belt up, and you can just pop it right into the little pulley system. What I didn't show you is I actually did clean that little pulley on the red one. Alright, put the washer on, and then get your little clippy dealy. And here's a pro tip. So you get your little clippy dealy and you get it all right, and then you drop it. And you want to make sure when you drop your clippy dealy that it doesn't go spoing off into the netherworld or down into the machine or anything. So when you accidentally drop your clippy dealy, make sure it lands on a plastic so it's easy, or on the playfield where it's easy to fetch. And then you just clippy dealy it on, and it looks like the tension's okay. I'm putting another screw in. I think, what is this one for? I think this screw is just for, the little plastic that lives underneath that other thing. I just put that on just to hold it in place. Alright, we're plugging our motor back in, and let's fire up a game, and we'll send a few balls through it just to make sure it's going to work. At this point, I actually don't have my tensioner tightened down. It's just all the way loose, but it's holding. The belt is pretty tight, actually. And it looks like it's working perfectly. And one more, for good measure. Shoink. And there it goes. And there, okay. I think that's pretty good. So, at this point, okay, we'll try it one more time. Yeah, never be too sure before you bolt it all back together and put the glass on. Okay, now we're good. Now I'm going to tighten up the screws on my tensioner just so that I don't lose them. And we got the glass back on because I put all the screws and stuff back in, and I'm pretty sure that everything's happy, and so I put the glass back on. So there you go. Super easy, super quick and dirty. The whole process took maybe about 25 minutes or so. I guess the only thing that I want to stress is to not stress that back plastic, because you don't want to break it. So loosen it up, take off all the screws that you feel like you need to take the screws off to get it to flex up to where you need it. There's also the little plastic that sits below it, kind of behind the wheel. There's about 3 screws there. Take that off. I didn't bother. There's some wires going through it. There's a hole in it. I didn't bother taking the wires off. I just kind of pushed it out of the way enough to get to the Ferris wheel screw mounts, mounting screws. That's what I was looking for. The mounting screws. About 7 of them. Take those out. Take that front wheel off and just kind of wiggle the whole thing out of there. It's not really too difficult. On this one, I didn't have to adjust my tensioner. It was actually all the way as loose as it could go because the belt is new. Maybe as the belt ages a little bit, it'll stretch out a little bit and I'll have to move that tensioner forward a little bit. But yeah, for this one, I didn't even have to bother with it. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Super easy. Just be really careful not to get any sort of lubrication on the belt or on the wheels itself. That'll cause it to slip. If you put it back together again and you find that it gets to a particular spot and starts to slip, that's probably what's causing that. Is that there's a little lubrication on the belt or on a wheel itself, or a little bit of both or something, and just clean them all off again, and should be good to go. Okay, I don't have anything else to add. I think that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.